So in this tutorial we're going to look at the Swept Blend feature, and essentially this feature allows you to create some geometry which transitions from one cross-section shape to another whilst following a specific path that you, the user, have defined. So let's create a new part, and if you want to give your part a descriptive name, probably swept underscore blend is a sensible name to give yours. And what we're going to do first is we're going to sketch out the path that we want our swept blend to follow. So if we sketch on the top plane here, and if we are wanting to create something similar to the shape that we've just seen, we can start with an arc. So we'll just put an arc in there, and then maybe put a second arc attached to that, so you can see this arc is remaining tangent with the first arc, and then maybe put a straight line on the end of here. So we're creating a path which is more complex than a simple single direction or just a portion of a circular arc. So this is quite a complex compound of different shapes, all tangented together. So that's fairly important that we keep them tangent to each other. But you can see that the system has automatically added those constraints in for me. If it hadn't, I could have used the tangent constraint and selected the two pieces of geometry that I wanted to make tangent with each other, and then we can OK that sketch. So when we have that sketch, we can select the Swept Blend tool, and then if we open up the References tab, we can see that it's asking for the trajectory, which is our path shape, so we can select that. It accepts that, and it's populated this box with our shape. The next thing that we have to do is we have to sketch our cross sections at certain points along this curve. So what we're going to do is we're going to sketch our small pentagon on this end of the curve, and then we're going to sketch our larger pentagon on this end of the curve. So the way that we do that is we select the Sections tab, because these are the cross-sectional shapes that we're going to define. And where it says Section 1, we don't have a sketch already to put in there, so we're going to create one. So we just want to click Sketch to do that. And you can see the view rotates round, and it centers itself on one end of the trajectory that we've selected. So you can see that there. It's created a new origin point for our sketch that happens to be on the end of the trajectory that we just selected. So let's sketch that pentagon shape on this end. Now the polygon shapes, other than the rectangle, are all contained within the palette option here. You can see we have a polygons tab, and we have lots of different number of sided polygons here. So if we click and hold on the 5-sided pentagon and then just drag into our window and then let go, you can see that we get the pentagon shape in our window. And then if we click on the center point of this pentagon, we can drag it and lock it to our new origin point on the end of our curve. So that's okay. We can close the palette and we can OK our pentagon, and then it's asking us just to confirm that the dimensions that it's entered are suitable. In this case we're going to change these slightly, so we may shrink them down, and then we can OK that sketch. So we have our first cross section sketched. What we're going to do now is we're going to click Insert to insert a second cross-sectional shape on this end of the curve. So we're going to hit Insert, and you can see that it's added a section 2 to our sections list, and then we're going to click Sketch again. And what we're going to do now is we're going to sketch a different size pentagon on this end of our initial sketch. So let's click on Sketch. You can see that the view rotates round. It's given us a new coordinate system here that happens to be on the end of this sketched path. And again, we're going to open the palette, pick the 5-sided pentagon, and we can drag it into the window, drop it, and then drag it onto our new coordinate system. Then we can close the window, say OK to the pentagon, and then we're ready to modify the size of this. So let's set this a little bit bigger. Let's set this at 50. And as we now OK this sketch, you can see that we're confronted with a preview of our finished shape. So the way that this shape is constructed is you can sketch 2 different cross sections. In actual fact, you can sketch 2 or more, so we could keep adding cross sections either in these intermediate points on our curve, or we could create a longer curve and add lots of section shapes all the way along. In this case, we're transitioning from a smaller pentagon at this end. This is the start point, this is what the arrow signifies, and we're transitioning along the full length of this trajectory all the way down to this larger pentagon shape at this end. So that is essentially what you can achieve with the Swept Blend. You can transition from one cross section to another over a distance, and that distance can follow a path which you've previously sketched, which can be a complex path, a collection of different pieces of geometry, all tangented together at their meeting points.